Welcome to Stala's online training. Today we are talking about Stala worktops 1 and 7 and designing program Stala Designer. My name is Anne Kanervo and I have marvelous colleagues here with me, Jari Peltonen and Sauli Valjakka.
Hi.
Stala 1 is the first 100% climate-reduced stainless steel worktop series, and Stala 7 is a sustainable classic worktop series. After presenting 1 and 7 worktop series with Jari, we'll dive into the world of sustainability with Sauli. At the end, we'll have a look at the Stala Designer. Then I leave the stage to Jari.
Thank you, Anne. Let's dive into stainless steel worktops of Stala and the novelties what we have launched this year. Here you can see the two worktop product families we have. Product family called 1 and product family called 7. And here you can see in the upper side of the picture, you can see the bowl variations what we have in the 1 stainless steel worktops. And these are divided by the cabinet size. Here you can see the 80 cabinet. So Stala 1 worktops has 3 models, B, S and D. And in 7 range we have Stala A7. And 60 cabinet Stala 1 has K and P and so on. And here I want to point out the new really interesting models to Stala 1 series is the B1 700 wide bowl and then the S1 where is 50 centimeter bowl and 17 centimeter bowl. And then a little bit more precisely what are the differences between these two worktop families. In up here you can see Stala 1 series and down here you can see Stala 7 series. And if we first take a look about Stala 1, so as Anne mentioned, these are the first 100% climate reduced stainless steel worktops. The bowl components itself are much more modern than in 7, so radius 25 in the corners, new flow strainer, really functional strainer, and then we have developed totally new accessories to the 1 series. And then on the other hand, the 7 range, there is more traditional bowls, traditional trainer, and also couple of new accessories. Then the material specific features. In the Stala 1 range, there is 2 options. There is circle green smooth surface, and then there is a matte surface. And these both are totally new materials to our stainless steel worktops. And then on the 7 range, there is the deco surface, and there is totally new circle green smooth material. Then the Stalatex option, you can see that if you choose in the 1 range, you choose the circle green, you get all the patterns what we have at the moment. And if you choose the matte surface, the matte material, there is no Stalatex available. And in the 7, as it has been, in the circle green, all the patterns are available and the deco material patterns are not available. Then the depth of the worktops. In 1 worktops, if you have circle green again, you get all the possible dimensions all the way from 400 to 635 millimeters. In the matte material, it's a bit limited from 590 to 610 millimeters. And on the 7 range, all the variations are available from 400 to 635 millimeters. Then the edge profiles. And there is two new really interesting novelties. In one series, with the circle green material, there is two new edge profiles. Raised back with raised edges and raised back with straight edges. A little bit later you see more closely what that means. And then on the matte material and on the 7 range there is raised and straight profiles. And last but not least, in the 1 range there is one really unique functional feature which is available to the matte material, and this is optional, so you can choose functional area. And that is available only with the straight edge. Then here you can see our stainless steel worktops divided by product families. On the left there is 1, on the right there is 7. And these are now based on the model. So if you want 2 bowls, 2 big bowls, there's a D in the 1 and A in the 7. If you want or need 1.5 bowls, in the 1 there is a P, and then the S model, which was the new one with the 500 millimeter bowl and 170, and then in the 7 there is F model, etc. And then another matrix. These are now divided based on the cabinet size. So if you choose 80 cabinet, there is 3 models to 1 series and 1 model to A series. If it's 60 cabinet, there is 2 models, the K and P1, and then in 7, L and F, and so on. But you will get all this material later on after this training, so you don't have to memorize all these. And then the next one is based on the bowl size. On the left hand, again, 1 series, so 80 cabinet, 60 cabinet, 50 cabinet. You can see the cabinet size also here. And in the dimensions 700, 500, 400, 330, and so on. So it's really easy now to compare what models are in which family. Then about the Stala 1 worktops more precisely. As mentioned, this is the first 100% climate reduced stainless steel worktops in Stala portfolio, which is really nice thing. And we use circle green stainless steel in these worktops, and it's 93% lower the carbon footprint if we compare it to the industry average, which is really huge innovation in our products. Then overall about the Stala 1 product family, we launched the 1 inset since 2023. After that, 2024, we launched the single bowls of this design and this product family. And now this spring, we launched the 1 worktops. And all of these are based on the sink components. And here you can see the all new 1 sink components, so which are designed and developed to this 1 series. And on the left, you see the new tag which point out the new size what we have, and this is the first time we have the 700 bowl in our range, which is really functional and really good addition to the 80 cabinet. And why we did these new components, we really listened to market, and there was a need for uniform the sizes of the sink. So all the way from the 700 sink to 170 wide sink, the dimensions are the same and the design is same. Then another point we got from the market and the market research is modernize the bowls to the stainless steel worktops. So really modern design now. We use radius 25 in the corners. We developed new flow strainer to the bottom of a bowl. Really functional, good looking, easy to keep clean strainer to all the stuff what comes from the dirty dishes, etc. And then we changed the position of the overflow so that it's every time in the middle of the sink in the back. It's a visual thing. It's harmonized now, and also in some cases it helps to fit to the cabinet, so you don't have to nudge the cabinet. Maybe in some cases, like used to. And then we develop all new accessories, 4 new accessories to this range, the one range, and you can see those accessories here and how those fit to the sink itself. Then about the materials, we have 3 materials in the one worktops: the smooth circle green, the new matte surface, which is really beautiful and not that reflective to light, and the material fits much better to the overall kitchen design. And then we have the Stala Tex laser patterned stainless steel surfaces. Then about profile variations and the raised back to the 1 series, and as you can see, we have developed 2 new options there. It's raised back with raised edge, so you get both of those, or then you can just have a smooth straight edge and the raised back. And this means that, here's another picture of it, the stainless steel material, the same material which comes from the worktop, is going up against the wall. So it means that it's really easy to keep clean. It improves the water safety really much, so you don't ever have to change the silicones or some other materials that typically are in the back corner. And then if you want, this emphasizes the modern look of the kitchen. And especially on these models, there is a special assembly instruction which tells them that you put it against the wall, the stainless steel. You can put the tile or whatever material you have on the back. You can put on top of it, or then you can put it next to it. Then we have this functional area, which is available to the matte material, and this is optional. And what it does, it really emphasizes the usability of a kitchen stainless steel worktops. It keeps the water on the right place, so to say. It limits the functional area really nicely. And as you can see here, there is the laser patterning on the right side in the functional area. So the area itself is totally smooth and flat. And what it does, it decreases the scratches, the visibility of the scratches in the surface. And I would say to really modernize the whole stainless steel product. And here you can see on the next slide how the matte surface itself, the new matte material, stainless steel material, and the laser pattern, how does it look on a surface. So really subtle modern appearance. And with the accessories, new accessories, it really is really good looking, but it really is a functional center point of the kitchen. And here the functional area with the matte surface without any accessories. You can see that it's really modern option now to the kitchen design. And here you can see a little bit larger pictures of the new accessories. So multi-purpose tray made out of silicone, colander made out of biocomposite, and 2 new cutting boards. And also, when we developed these new accessories, the sustainability was a huge driver for making these. Okay, Anne, how about Stala 7 then?
Okay, so I'll continue here about Stala 7. So I know this is you are familiar with 7 product family. It's sustainable and classic in every sense, and we can move on to the next slide. So so here's the collection as it is at the moment. And I would like to point out here that the K7 and M7, which were inside the 7 series, so now they belong to one series. So they still exist, but under Stala 1 product family. E7 has been discontinued, and the rest of the family has stayed the same. And here we can see the classic bowl components with all the classical details with radius 50, corners, and traditional strainer and overflow. And materials available for 7 product family are almost the same as before, but in this case we have added the circle green as a smooth surface to the product family. So that's new, and that has lowered the carbon footprint of the product. So the profile variations are the same. So there's raised and straight profiles available. And also these 1 accessories, multi-purpose tray and colander, can be used with 7 worktops as well. Go ahead, Sally.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. Thank you, Jari, and good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Sauli Valekka, and I'm the quality engineer here at Stala. When Anne asked me to talk about the sustainability of our 1 and 7 worktops in this webinar, the first thing that came into my mind was what kind of sustainability should I actually talk about? Because there are so many different angles to it. So I ended up choosing the perspective of responsible construction because that is something that really matters to a lot of our customers and stakeholders. So over the next 10 minutes or so, I will go through how our 1 and 7 worktops support responsible construction and what kind of benefits they bring from that point of view. Well, to begin with a few words about what responsible construction is. Our goal is to create more sustainable built environments that are compatible with the surrounding nature and provide well-being for both current and future generations. According to the World Green Building Council, the cornerstones of responsible construction are environmental friendliness, social sustainability, ethical practices, sustainable urban environments, and life cycle management of buildings. So here are 5 different aspects to consider, and I will go through each step and tell you how we consider these in our 1 and 7 kitchen worktops. So first there was environmental friendliness. Our goal, well, the goal of sustainable construction is to reduce the environmental impact of the building industry. That means things like using energy efficient solutions, using renewable energy sources, cutting down on waste, recycling, and choosing eco-friendly materials. Our approach to sustainability starts with our main raw material, stainless steel. We use Outokumpu circle green steel, which is made in Finland and is 100% recyclable. It has about 90% of recycled materials, and compared to the global average, it has a much lower carbon footprint. We also use a completely chemical-free and low-energy production method for Stala Tex. And when I say low energy, it means that you can produce Stala Tex surface using the same amount of power as two 25-watt light bulbs. Our factory runs entirely on renewable electricity, and the heating comes from emission-free district heating. Last year, our recycling rate was 75%, and we are constantly working to improve that. Here is the study that says that in Finland, more than 40% of consumers were willing to pay even more for an environmentally responsible product than for an alternative product. According to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, by 2030, all new buildings must be net zero carbon in operation, and embodied carbon must be reduced by at least 40%. Well, time will tell how that will succeed, but of course we want to be part of that ambition. I just mentioned that our main raw material is stainless steel made by Outokumpu. I will go through how we ended up choosing their circle green steel for our 1 and 7 worktops. First off, it is important to understand where the biggest emissions in product actually come from. We have calculated the carbon footprint for all 1 and 7 worktops using our carbon footprint calculator provided by a Finnish company called Green Carbon. And yeah, the results were pretty clear. The cover material of the worktop is by far the biggest source of emissions. So if we are serious about making sustainable choices and cutting down the emissions, the steel we use for the cover is where we need to focus. So that's why we chose Outokumpu Circle Green, because it is the most sustainable stainless steel in the world. Here is the chart that helps you to understand the difference compared to other steels. The reference product here is our C7 worktop. As you can see, the global average emissions for stainless steel are 167% higher than the emissions from the circle green steel. So yeah, just by choosing this low emission steel, we have been able to bring the total emissions of our 1 and 7 worktops down to a pretty reasonable level. Then there was a social sustainability. For Stala, social sustainability means making sure our employees feel safe and well, promoting fair working conditions, of course, and using local workforce. Our factory is located in Lahti, Finland, and we have 45 people working here. And the figure here tells that the people at Stala are quite happy for working here. We have built really strong safety culture, and one way to show is our LTI number. Basically, Stala has not had a single lost time injury in over 2,300 days. That's more than 6 years without any accidents. Then there is a study that responsible treatment of employees weighs on consumers' choices. More than 50% of Finnish consumers are even ready to pay more for the services of a company known as a responsible employer. Ethical practices cover everything we do, from production to whole supply chains and business operations. We have code of conduct that all our suppliers are committed to. It's actually part of the supplier agreement. We also audit our suppliers every year to make sure they meet our standards, both in terms of quality and ethics. And in a way, it's also an ethical choice that all 1 and 7 worktops are made right here in Lahti, Finland. They are not only manufactured locally, but they are also designed in-house from start to finish. Again, one study says that more than 41% of Finns say that domesticity and transparency of production chains are one of the most important selection criteria when purchasing construction and renovation products or services. Now that we are talking about ethics and transparency, it's worth mentioning that our Stala 1 worktops has the so-called Penguin label. It's a third-party certification that shows the company is committed to reducing product emissions. This means we have set clear goals and made concrete plans to cut emissions, and those plans are reviewed and verified every year by South Pole, which is an international climate company. The key part of this verification is our carbon footprint calculations, which South Pole has verified to follow the GHG protocol standards. Here is the picture that shows South Pole 5-step climate journey. First step is measuring the product emissions. Step 2 is making a plan to reduce them. Step 3 is the actual reducing the emissions. For example, by switching to a lower emission raw material like we did with the Circle Green Steel. And since we cannot yet make a completely emission-free product, step 4 is about offsetting the remaining emissions by supporting environmental protection through climate credits. And finally, step 5 is communication. Being open and honest about what we have done to reduce emissions. All of this is explained in detail on our South Pole landing page, which you can see linked in the bottom left corner of the slide. And well, I need to mention that our 1 worktops has reached the highest performance level in all 5 steps. That is a quite strong sign that we have actually hit the sustainability goals we set for the product way back in the concept phase. Responsible construction promotes the design and construction of sustainable and functional urban environments. The goal is to create comfort and healthy living environments that take into account the needs of movement, infrastructure, green areas, and housing. When it comes to supporting sustainable urban environments, our focus at Stala is making sure our worktops are safe and meet environmental and health standards throughout their entire life cycle. Our worktops can be used in buildings certified with the Nordic Swan eco-label, and Stala Sync products are listed in the Nordic Swan building product database. You will also find our worktops in the Sundahus and Byggvarubedömningen, 2 building product database that help builders to find safe and sustainable materials for construction projects. A survey conducted by the United Nations find that about 68% of the global population is projected to live in urban areas by 2050, indicating a substantial interest in urban living. The International Finance Corporation identifies green buildings as one of the biggest global investment opportunities of the next decade. Green buildings will represent 24.7 trillion investment opportunity in emerging markets by 2030. And last, we have life cycle management of buildings. Lifecycle management of buildings means designing, construction, and using buildings in such way that they are sustainable and energy efficient. Also, the aim is to promote the renovation and recycling of the buildings when the life of the buildings ends. Our worktops have a technical lifespan of at least 25 years, and even after that, the material is fully recyclable, which basically makes it everlasting material. For our 1 and 7 worktops, we offer the Stala textile patterning method. It's completely chemical-free and uses very little energy, as I told you earlier. Besides giving the surface a unique visual look, the patterning also helps hide scratches. In other words, the patterned surface keeps the worktop looking fresh and new for longer because those everyday marks and scratches don't stand out so easily. So Stalatex it is not just about the visual look, it's functional too. And when you think about the product life cycle, that kind of durability adds extra years of use, which is a big plus when it comes to managing the life cycle of buildings. According to the report of UN Environment Program, 40 to 50% of the extracted resources used for global materials are used for housing, construction, and infrastructure. Now that we make worktops from stainless steel made of recycled materials, it greatly reduces the need for virgin material, which promotes responsible construction. 53% of Finnish consumers think that the construction industry should fight more against climate change. They want to make sure that the materials they choose are manufactured in a climate-friendly manner, that their life cycle is long, and that at the end of their life cycle, the materials can be recycled for use again. And when it comes to meeting those requirements, our 1 and 7 worktops totally meets them. So yeah, that was my humble part of the webinar. Anne, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Sauli. So at the end, we'll have a look at Stala Designer. So let's go to Stala's website on stala.com, and we can find the design tools at the upper navigation bar. And then we choose the Start Your Design with Stala Designer. So here you can choose to design a worktop or back panel or interior panel. Today we choose to design a worktop. And the first choice again is to choose the product family. So we choose Stala 1 at first, and then we place the dimensions of the worktop first. And then after dimensions, we need to choose the edge profile, worktop location, and then raised back. So this is the new section. We can choose from raised back or no raised back choices. And then to the next stage of choosing the pattern or the worktop surface. As mentioned, the matte surface is the new material for Stala 1 worktops. So in this case, I choose matte surface. And as mentioned, K7 and M7 are now located in one worktop family, so you can find them over here. But as Jari already mentioned, the B1 is the new large bowl for one worktop. So today I'll choose that one and place it on the worktop. And because I need a tap, so I choose a tap hole in the middle as well. And then we go to the next stage. For this, I'd like to have a hub cut out. So just put the dimensions for the hub and then position the cutout. So in this case, I want to place it 50 millimeters from the right and from the edge, from the front edge. And let's move on to the next stage. So in this case, when we have the bowl placed on the left side of the worktop, so there's no space on the left side to place the dimensional functional area. So in this case, we can choose from no functional area or functional area on the right. So let's choose it to the right side of the bowl and move on. And then you can choose necessary accessories to your order. And at the last phase, there's a summary about the product you just designed. You can add a new product, so let's do that today. We add a new worktop, so now we can go to 7 product family. And in this case, we have a little bit different dimensions. Use straight edge profile and place the worktop against the wall. And at this time, we choose the smooth circle green surface. And okay, I don't need a bowl or sink today, so let's choose the one without, and no hubcap either. And we move next. So here you can see the total design. So there's B1 with the dimensions and with the product code, and then H7 without the sink, and then the product code for it. And then you can save the PDF or send it to your email. Okay, so this is for today. So thank you so much for joining us on today's online training. You'll get a recording after the training, and we're going to ask your feedback on this training as well. So hopefully you'll have the time to give us feedback. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.